Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. November. Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. But I did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Brunson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
I am so happy. This is I don't know how to start this episode. You know what? Before we even get to the good, I do want to say what happened at the end of the game there to Jayson Tatum was obviously devastating for not just the Celtics and their fans and Boston, but the entire NBA. You hate to see this when great ambassadors of the sport go down with such devastating injuries. And Jayson Tatum is a hell of a player in this league, and he was giving the Knicks a hell of a game. So before we even get into the Knicks stuff, I just want to get that part out there, that my prayers and best wishes go to Jayson Tatum and him and his family and all Celtics fans, because that's terrible, and I wouldn't wish that on my best player. I wouldn't wish that on... I was going to say I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, but the Celtics are my worst enemy, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. So, I mean, it's horrible. Now, does this take away from the Knicks win? I'm not letting it take away from anything. I'm not letting it take the joy away from what was an amazing performance by the New York Knicks. But I do wish Tatum the best, and I wish him a speedy, but proper recovery, because it's difficult to come back from what he's suffering with. I don't even want to say the word because it's just gives me chills. But best of luck to him. Best fortunes to him going forward. I'm praying for him. And again, I'm sending my best wishes. And that's just, it's a big blow. I remember there was a game last year. Jalen Brunson went down. And at first it looked like a non-contact injury, and everybody's first thought was exactly that. Obviously ended up being just a scare. It was just a knee bump, I think. So for what I'm saying this for is because for a moment there, I felt, at least for a brief second or two, I felt what Boston fans are feeling right now. So I wish Jayson Tatum the best. That said, hello everybody. Hello Knicks fans. Hello fans of a team that is up 3-1 against the Celtics. Are we having a good time yet? The New York Knicks are one win away from advancing to the conference finals and knocking out the Boston Celtics. God, did that feel good. I don't think I said that out loud until just now. God, does this feel good? Because the arrogance and the pompous a-holes of that stupid city just make these wins feel that much greater. So fuck Boston. You suck. Paul Pierce sucks. KG sucks. Missoula sucks. Bill Simmons sucks. Portnoy sucks. Barstool sucks. Clam Chowder sucks. The Patriots suck. The Red Sox suck. The Bruins suck, I'm sure. I don't even know about hockey. But I bet they suck too. Why? Because they're Boston. The Celtics suck. And most of all, the entire scumbag city of Boston sucks. And I'm so happy to see you all frowning at 3 losses in 4 games. And hopefully, Knicks fans, we can get them frowning just one more time within these next 3 games, hopefully within the next 1. This was the biggest Knicks win of my life, and it's not even close. I'm 30 years old, so I was born in the 90s, but I didn't really obviously remember the Knicks in the 90s. This is the biggest Knicks win in my life. So I'm appreciating it. Will NBA media respect it? I doubt that. Are they finally going to give the Knicks some respect? Or are we going to keep talking about the greatest villains to come into MSG and put on a performance like we did for 10, 15 minutes of the pregame of Game 3? I don't know if anybody else saw that garbage. Ugh. Like, when is it going to be about the resilient New York Knicks who look like a legit finals contender about to knock out the defending champs in the second round, and not about the defending champs' collapse or the defending champs not getting luck or just not playing well and the Knicks getting lucked out? When is that going to be a storyline about the Knicks doing their job? I get it. Doesn't get engagement, right? There's no engagement in honesty like that. You don't get clicks. You don't get views. Perhaps that's why traditional television media is fading. Perhaps that's why we're seeing the rising dominance of podcasts. Just not mine. But who cares? Because all we need is for us Knicks fans to appreciate and recognize this. Right? All we need to know is that we enjoy this. Just take a look at 7th Ave last night in NYC. There is no other fan base. No other fan base. None. No other fan base in this sport. No other fan base in any other sport. I don't care what team just came to your mind. No. There's not another fan base with the passion and the energy and the movement that Knicks fans possess. We are different. We are absolutely different than all of you. I'm in Jersey, rooting for the Knicks like I'm a native New Yorker. Incredible what took place after that win last night. And the building was, I'm sure, on fire. But just seeing the videos online of 7th Avenue, 5th Avenue, 6th Avenue, I mean, New York City was flooding with orange and blue. Flooding. So, every one of them deserves it. We all deserve it. Credit to the New York Knicks. Credit to the players, the front office, and credit to the head coach, Tom Thibodeau, for getting the Knicks in a 3-1 position right now. Thibs continues to coach his ass off this series. And in last night's game alone, nothing different. You have to credit him for multiple things. The offensive play calling was better. Horn sets, chin sets, pistol sets, etc. He opened up the playbook a little bit more than we have seen him this postseason. He made an effort to get Towns involved. He made an effort to push the pace off of defensive rebounds and turnovers forced. But he was also making an effort to work quicker in the half court. I liked the rotations that Thibs went with. Top of the fourth quarter, I liked what I saw. I think the Knicks did a nice job continuing to get Bridges on the ball when Brunson sits there in those early fourth quarter minutes, letting Mikal initiate pick and roll, getting to the mid-range versus drop. Porzingis, Cornet. And then I thought Thibs did an excellent job of going away from Towns in the fourth quarter there, right? He went Mitchell Robinson over Towns to close. And he went Deuce McBride over Josh Hart, who was in foul trouble. But, I mean, you saw the offense with that lineup out there. Beautiful offense. You're getting beautiful half-court offense when the defense is unable to completely ignore one of your 5 players. When you have Deuce on the floor, we've talked about this, you see the spacing difference. You see the gravity that he commands. It's so big not having Josh Hart in the half court in such a positive way. And I love Josh Hart, but man, you do see the difference in half court offense when Josh Hart sits and Deuce McBride's out there. But I continue to love the defense and the coverages that we continue to see, the switching everything. The Knicks keep switching everything. And it's completely, we are 4 games into the series, and it's completely thrown Boston off after dropping on them all season. They were going to a drop coverage, game 1, game 2, game 3, game 4. Yes, there was some switching with Brunson and Towns, game 3 and game 4, but primarily Thibs' base all year against this Boston Celtics team was drop. And all of a sudden, he went to a switch everything, or at least switching 2 to 5, hedging Jayson. And that has thrown them off, right? Towns is now switching every single ball screen. And he did fine. And he did fine last night. And yes, there were some really tough isolation makes when Tatum got the Towns switch. But that's by design for the Knicks, right? The Knicks are living with that ISO, and they're not sending help because they want to avoid rotations and they want to avoid the sure thing from 3. So let Towns take on that Tatum ISO. That's the switch you're going to live with. If that's the worst thing, that's what we're going to live with. That's how you stop their 3-point barrage. You switch everything. You're not fighting over the top all the time, but instead, you're tagging the man who's right in front of you. There's no confusion, no wasting time, no wasted movement, nothing. And it's worked to, I don't want to say perfection because, in the first half of game 3, he did go away from it. But I think that was more of a Towns thing. But it's worked the Knicks into a really good defensive series. But last night, it wasn't just the defense. It was the offense. It was everything. It was the Knicks finally putting together their first complete game of the 2025 postseason. The first couple of possessions were a little concerning, right? There were some breakdowns, some miscommunications, a little overhelping that led to some bad looks or some good looks from 3 for the Celtics. And then there were still some scary moments in that first half. You had a couple more mistakes on those Brunson hedges. You had a couple of possessions where the Knicks were getting cross-matched in transition, leading to open looks. They were losing Porzingis a couple of times because they were switching. So they had their big up. Porzingis had some lanes to the rim where he was not getting boxed. And yeah, like I said, there were even some tough isolations on those Knicks switches. Just good offense beating good defense. But really, from those first couple of really brutal possessions of the game, from there on, the Knicks found it, especially in the second half. But the second quarter, Bridges, Mitch, Deuce, they were huge in keeping the Knicks in this game and not letting Boston run away with it. Then the second half comes and the Knicks put their foot on the gas. And they outscored the Celtics by 19 points, putting up an offensive rating by themselves of 149. A 149 offensive rating in the second half for your Knicks. It was Jalen Brunson erupting for 18 in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, it was OG Anunoby's shot making. Mikal Bridges, of course, the big turning point was from Mikal Bridges, in my opinion. He got about 7 minutes, a little less than 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Knicks are down. Mikal Bridges pick and roll into a mid-range. Knocks it down. The Knicks are up 1. Then the very next defensive possession, a really good low-man rotation to stop Porzingis at the basket for Mikal Bridges. That led to an OG Anunoby layup in early offense. Knicks go up further. And that's really what was the story of this game. Every time the Celtics made their run, the Knicks would respond. They would respond with a big rotation. They would respond with a big stop, a big block, a big basket, a rebound, a big play. So that's why you're looking at a team going up 3-1 in a series against the Boston Celtics. That's why the Knicks won 121-113 last night. But I do want to go back to the offensive end and praise that New York Knicks offense because they deserve it. So let's do that when we return from our first break here on episode 864 of the podcast. Welcome to BD4. Appreciate you all tuning in. Let's talk Knicks. BD4 is available on social media for those who want to follow. You can find BD4 on Instagram at BD4Pod. You can find us on X at BD4Pod. And you can find us on Facebook by simply searching BD4. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, this podcast is also available in video format on YouTube. So be sure to go over to the YouTube channel, BD4, subscribe, like the videos, comment, and tell me how much I suck or maybe how much you like the video. We'd very much appreciate it. Okay, welcome back to the podcast. I appreciate you all tuning in as always. That's the offense that we want to see. It wasn't perfect by any means. But when you compare it to what we got for basically the entire postseason up to last night, you finally got good offense. Brunson was getting some off-ball looks. Towns was getting more involved. I thought the Knicks did a nice job adjusting to Boston's scheme with what they were doing off of those Josh Hart ball screens. There was, as I said, a lot more pace off of the Celtics' misses. It was just overall less on-the-spot freelance, and when freelance was called for, they executed that well. But you had a lot of different offensive sets that you saw the Knicks take the time to get into and execute. Nice sideline out of bounds play for Towns early in the third quarter. You had a Horns flare for Towns in this game. You had a Brunson three-pointer off of stagger pins. Couple of actions out of the Chin series. I believe the first possession of the game for the Knicks didn't knock down the shot, but Brunson comes off a Hart screen. OG comes off Brunson's screen. Brunson comes back up off of Josh Hart's screen to receive a pass from Mikal. And it flows into a Brunson-Hart pick and roll versus a drop big. I think it was Al Horford. For Towns, I think it was his first three-point attempt that he took. Only took 3, but the Knicks ran that same action again. This time OG rejected it. And eventually Towns pops off the pin down that he set for a three-point attempt on the left elbow. offense out of the Chin series. There, middle of the third quarter, the Knicks run Chin into Floppy, where Brunson comes from under the basket and Floppy off of a hard pin down for a corner three. I think he knocked that down. So they ran about 3 or so sets that I noticed out of the Chin series. Got a couple of double drags last night. You had late in the first quarter, Mitch and Hart screen for Brunson in a double drag set. Another late first quarter double drag set when the Knicks had dual bigs out there. It was Mitch and Cat screening for Brunson. Mitch rolls, Cat pops. Boston had no low man tag because Porzingis was in high coverage at the level. So Mitch had an easy alley-oop finish off the 1-5 pick and roll that way. Couple of pistol actions late in the first quarter. The Knicks run pistol keep for OG. He comes off a 3-5 pick and roll with Mitch. Scores off of Mitch's like a Gortat screen down under the basket. Derek White's caught behind from the first screen. Middle of the second quarter. Pistol keep for Mikal Bridges. Bridges comes out of 3-5 pick and roll, scores off of the Mitch rescreen. Again, there were a few horn sets. Middle of the first quarter, the Knicks run horns out for Brunson to get a 3-point look. Early third quarter, they run another horns out for Brunson. This time he knocks down the three. And then a couple of times in a row, at the very top of the fourth quarter, the Knicks run horns elbow get. It's for Mikal Bridges, right? With Brunson on the bench, then run some actions for Mikal out of horns. He gets to his mid-range spot versus drop coverage off the 3-5 pick and roll with Mitch. Knocks a couple shots down. Also for Mikal, you saw him a few minutes later in a ghost screen action to beat the switch. You saw him involved in a ram screen action in the third quarter. The Celtics switch it. The Knicks counter that switch by bringing Mikal up to the action, which would bring Al Horford in high coverage. So Hart rolls with Horford coming up. Tatum tags because of that. Now Boston's in rotation, and Mikal ends up knocking down the basket. So organized offense. It was really beautiful to see. And I think that was my favorite part about last night. And who led an offense? Who else, right? Who else but the king of New York sports, Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson gets the game ball from this game because who else would among the starting unit? There were so many good performances, but this guy just blows you away more every night. He now has 28 game balls on the year, 3 in the postseason. 39 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds. He shoots 14 for 25, 4 for 8 from 3, 7 for 9 on the foul line, and he was a plus 12 in 40 minutes of play. Jalen Brunson's greatest and most important night as a Knick, and he passed with flying fucking colors. So many good things about it. Before you even get to the offense, I thought his defensive switches held up. Yes, he had some mishaps. But I also loved what he did on the glass. Those 5 rebounds were no joke. 2 massive rebounds late in the third quarter. The offensive rebound that he gets. OG misses that corner 3. Brunson comes in from the nail, grabs the offensive rebound, makes a very quick move to score and get underneath the basket for a bucket. Couple of minutes later, grabs a big defensive rebound off of a Jayson Tatum miss from the top of the key. Led to the Knicks getting out in transition. But yeah, I mean, the scoring was there, of course. He had an insane second half. 26 points in the second half. He was a plus 21 in the second half. He was outstanding in the third quarter to give the Knicks some real confidence that they can win this game. Actually getting their offense going. Responding to Tatum on every single big basket in that fourth quarter. Tatum knocks one down that seems like it was a backbreaker. No, Brunson comes down and does the same thing, but better. Just impressive as ever shot making from the king of shot making. Given this kid's size and given the lack of athleticism that he has, it's really impressive what he's able to do with the lack of spacing that surrounds him. Attacking switches all night, Tatum, White, Horford in drop coverage, etc. His strength was on display again. That I think it was at the top of the game. He drives on Drew Holiday for a nice right-handed finish. The footwork is just, I'm running out of words to describe his impeccable footwork. The fall-away jumper late in the first quarter. He had a number of other really impressive baskets where he just displays excellence with his feet. The low post scoring on Derek White. Really good at posting up wings and bigger players. And then he comes through down the stretch, which is why he leads not just in the... he was the clutch player of the year in the regular season, cool. But he's leading in total points in the clutch in the postseason. He's second in points per game in clutch points in the playoffs behind Gary Trent Jr., who played 2 games. So you can filter that out. Just excellence. And he's been really good in the pick and roll with Mitch Robinson this round. You know, I think Mitchell Robinson's gravity opens up the floor big time for Jaylen, right? There were a couple of Brunson baskets that came with Mitch on the dunk spot near the offensive glass. So what that did was it drew Porzingis away from Brunson and closer to the basket, so Jaylen had more room to get to his spots. You saw that in the first quarter. You saw that in the fourth quarter when he ran those Mitch pick and rolls. And speaking of Mitch Robinson, may as well transition to him now because I'm giving the Bing Bong game ball from the second unit to Mitch Robinson. The Knicks continue to play great ball when he's on the floor. Mitch continues to play great ball when he's paired with Brunson and also when he's paired with Deuce McBride, right? Big time second quarter with McBride. Mitchell Robinson was all over the offensive glass, passing the ball back out to the perimeter. Deuce out there shooting, and he was also big in the fourth quarter along with Deuce. They play well together. It's a good defensive duo, but it's a good offensive duo, very overshadowed. So Mitch Robinson was outstanding. 11 game balls, 5 this postseason, which leads the team. He's arguably been the best Knick this round. And I debated whether to say arguably or not before I press record, because he's really been super consistent. He's been so good for them. So I don't know if I have anything else. This was just a game you can't complain about too much because the Knicks played a really complete game. Gotta love the switching. Gotta love the offense. Gotta love the lineups. Gotta love a lot of the things this head coach did to assure the Knicks would win this game. So with that said, we're going to head to a break and we'll get back and we'll wrap this thing up right there with our trivia question. Stay with us. Be back in a sec. Don't have time to sit down and watch a video? You can listen to BD4 on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And you can also watch the video format on Spotify too. If you feel like supporting the podcast, you can Venmo at Robert-Carbone-JR-28. We really appreciate your support. Do you enjoy Yankees baseball but are tired of hearing me yap? I have a suggestion for you. Go check out Yankee Crazy Podcast. Greg Gill is a Yankees podcaster on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and he's now selling merch. Go to yankeecrazy.myshopify.com. Stay connected with us. Visit BD4blog.com To explore our blog, tune in to our latest podcasts, and follow us on social media. Thank you for being a part of this community. Okay, welcome back to episode 864 of the podcast. The Knicks go up 3-1 against the Celtics. My goodness, they've got to finish them off. I know that the Celtics are going to be without Tatum. I know that the Knicks have got the momentum right now. But as I've said continuously and just recently, there is no such thing as momentum in the postseason. These players, a lot of these star players, and a lot of the elite role players, these teams, these coaches are really excellent in their mentality. They're really good at putting aside something and going into every game with a fresh slate. So the Knicks have 3 chances to finish this thing off. They have one home game in between. But, I think it'd be best for my mental health and every single Knicks fan's mental health, for Twitter's mental health, if the Knicks go out there on Wednesday night in Boston, inside of Toronto Dominion Bank, and they get the damn job done right there. Because then you drop that game, then you start talking about, well, we're going home. Now we have to win this one, because if we don't win this one, we're going back to Boston in a Game 7, and all of a sudden it's like, fuck. So this next, they say it's the hardest thing to finish off a series. You're up 3-1. You have a prime golden opportunity in front of you. You've not yet really struggled on the road this postseason. Finish them off. Do the job. Your foots are on their throats right now. Now it's time to stomp down and end it. Put them out of their misery and end this motherfucking series. Let's go Knicks. With that said, let's wrap it up with our trivia question of the day here in episode 864 of the show. Okay. So for this episode, hit the wrong button there. For this episode of the podcast, our trivia question of the day. When was the last time the Knicks made it to the conference finals, and who did they face? Probably an easy question. We may have even asked this one before. But when was the last time the Knicks made it to the conference finals, and who did they face? Okay? That's your trivia for this one. Folks, I appreciate you all for tuning in. As always, Knicks fans, I will see you after Wednesday's game. Hopefully a win. A series clinching win. And if you're a Knicks fan who's also a Yankees fan, I'll see you after this Yankees-Mariners series. But that scared the shit out of me. I guess I triggered Siri. All right, folks. We're going to wrap it up here. Appreciate it. See you soon. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.